Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of visionary entrepreneurs and explore the strategies driving their companies forward. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind innovative ventures, the challenges they face, and the plans for their future growth. Today, we are excited to have David Hershfield, a global business executive and key figure behind Fideseo. Based in Ponte Verde, Florida, Fideseo, founded in 2022, is transforming how businesses scale by providing fractional expertise through their proprietary resource fidelity model, helping clients in technology, finance, and risk management without full-time overhead. With 17 years as a board member at Unity Care and a passion for building learning cultures, David brings a unique perspective to consulting. We'll be exploring his founding story, how Fideseo empowers businesses, and his vision for scaling this innovative venture. So let's dive right in. David, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you. Great to be here, Jay. Thanks for having me.
An absolute pleasure having you on the show today, David. So for our listeners, let's start at the very beginning, right? Take us to the front of Fideseo here. What specific problem in the consulting landscape really inspired you to start Fideseo?
Great to start talking about that. It's a very interesting, it really surprised us. So let me just give you a little background there. Hershfield Consulting preceded Fideseo. It was a company that was really designed to provide strategic advisory consulting in a variety of areas and did that for a number of years, starting in 2013. What happened in 2022, and recall, of course, that was in the midst of the COVID pandemic. We started getting questions like, do you have anybody that knows how to do this or that? And it was everything from, we need someone who can help us be chief information security officer or something else in terms of resource. We need product management help. Within a span of 4 months, our business went completely upside down from advisory consulting to fractional resources. So the market is really what drove our change.
Incredible, incredible. So with that change and that evolution, is that really the main focus of Fideseo right now, just the fractional resources that you're providing for businesses?
It is. What we learned from our consulting roots is that the fractional resources or the companies that offered resources, fractional or otherwise, whether they are contractors or consultants, often left it to the consultant to just do all the work and kind of threw them into the fray and said, here, go for it. And if something happened, it was the consultant or the contractor's problem to solve. We changed that because we recognized that it's a partnership.
Yeah.
So a partnership with the consultant and a partnership with the firm. So we're actually in there acting as though we are supporting the work, providing the support that's needed when something goes wrong, getting involved in the conversations as needed. So it's a very different model from traditional contractors or even fractional resources. It's much more participative.
I love it. I love it. With the amount of experience that you have in the space and the consulting industry as a whole, what's a misconception that you hear often about the consulting industry, especially around its value of fractional expertise or its scalability as a business? What can you address for us on that front?
I'm really glad you asked that question, Jay, because there are two things that come up often. First one is consulting firms, many of them unfortunately have poisoned the well in charging exorbitant fees for things, and then they don't get a lot of value out of it, and they wonder where'd the money go. So that's the first thing. They're just another consulting firm providing some services, and it's going to be expensive. The other one is how can a fractional resource possibly be effective, considering that the core, they're not full time. Fraction means a fraction of the time. And both of those have the same answer. One is, first of all, because it's fractional, it's less costly. So we have a great value proposition for nonprofits and for-profit companies because it's not going to be as expensive as hiring other consultants or a consulting firm or an employee. As far as the productivity is concerned and the effectiveness is, we have plenty of examples of data to show that with a team of experienced, dedicated, fractional resources, and whether it's a C-level person or a team itself, you'd be shocked at what we were able to deliver. As an example, we delivered in 18 months a wide-ranging application that included a full team of fractional resources, delivering millions of dollars of revenue and to the bottom line for a company that was not digitally native. And they were shocked at how effective it was and what the ROI looked like.
Very incredible on that front. On that same side, would definitely love for our listeners to understand a bit more of the nuts and bolts of Fideseo, especially because some of our listeners can end up coming to you and being clients of yours. As far as generating revenue today, what exactly is the core offer that your clients see when they come to you, like the services, starter kits, the vendor fidelity program? How are
Sure.
you structuring that for your clients when they come to you?
Really important question. So, first of all, if you have a need for a gap that's difficult to fill, and I'm going to use an example that's more common than not. We live in a world today where cybersecurity is a big issue, and companies don't do anything or know how to do anything unless there's a problem. They've either had a breach, or their board has told them they need to do something, or they're freaked out. We are able to then say, okay, oftentimes the thing you're worried about our data is data. Your data security is the most important thing. So we can provide a starter kit that helps you understand where are you vulnerable. And we do that with the fractional chief information security officer who comes in, evaluates what's going on, and gives you some quick insights and some actionable things that you can do in a short period of even 4 weeks. And then that person can be available if you need them on an ongoing basis or not. They can come in and go out at different times. That's the beauty of fractional resources. You don't need them forever. Some of the other examples, or basically a product experience or a digital transformation. A lot of companies that are not native, that don't native digitally, that don't know how to get started or have had struggles in delivering digital offerings. That's where our starter kits help. That's where our digital product managers help. They understand, they learn how to get quickly into the work. What are the needs of the customers that you have or the people you serve, and how do you deliver something to them that's of value that either generates revenue or helps more people, depending upon what your mission is. Those are really the two areas where we specialize. We have a huge bench of people, though. We've done CIOs that are fractional, CTOs, CFOs, and then teams of people that include product managers, project managers, content folks, product marketing, you name it. We've got a really deep, deep offering, but we start with those two areas because we think it leads to a lot of other areas. Lastly, you mentioned vendor fidelity. That we mention on the side. We deal with that. That's basically addressing the problem as follows. 65% of all cybersecurity breaches in the United States are due to your vendors. So, how do you protect yourself? That product does it. We have a proprietary environment. We only introduce it when we've got a fractional resource involved.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So definitely very in depth as far as the solution that you're offering and providing for your clients on that front. So help us understand, David, what's working best for you right now as far as the acquisition side, being that you're in this niche and very refined. How are you seeing new clients come through the door for you, whether that be referrals, ads, social media on the organic side?
Yeah. Important question. Historically, what we have done is we've relied on our personal connections, really using LinkedIn, for example, and just reaching out to people we know. We have broad networks, and then going to our existing clients and saying, do you know anybody that needs help? Those are usually the two channels that have worked for us in the past, and they continue to work for us. We've dabbled in we went to our first conference where we actually had an exhibit. I gave a keynote. We participated in multiple panels. We did that in March of this year. Super fun and got a lot of good feedback. We are sure that it's not the number one channel, but it was good to do. Talked about critical thinking, which is at the core of our teams of people and what they do differently from other companies. So those channels have worked reasonably well. Where we failed. We tried lead generation a couple of years ago, got deep into that. We learned a lot, but it
Yeah.
really didn't result in a sales pipeline that we wanted. Social media, we're active on LinkedIn. We need to be more active. And obviously, we've got other things that we are looking at. We know Instagram, TikTok, and all the others are all capable for us as well. But we've been focused primarily on LinkedIn. So that's been our journey so far as that's concerned.
Gotcha. Overall, as of right now, it's really that referral, word of mouth that's working best for you. Many of the guests that I have on the show also are seeing success with referrals and word of mouth. So the thing that they tell me though is that it's not predictable, right? It's
No.
really tough to predict that. So what's that kind of playing out in your mind of moving forward? How are you looking to get that predictable lead flowing?
Yeah, it's an important question. So we feel as though if we can be active in social media, be very opportunistic about conferences we attend, articles we write, publications we get involved with. We feel as though there's a thought leadership track, and then there's also reaching out to certain industry segments or individuals we know in certain industries. We think that the best way to do that is potentially through some LinkedIn ads, which we have seen have been successful with some of our colleagues have talked about them. We know that our use of AI is fairly extensive, more than people might think. For example, in our vendor fidelity world, we use AI to help us score vendors, and we also use it within the context of our own work and research. So there's an element of demand generation through AI that I think we could do a little bit better. That's where I think we're hopeful we can see some things improve.
Incredible. So walk us through as far as what the sales process actually looks like from initial contact to signing a deal with you, David. Is this something that you're running on your own from start to finish? Do you have a sales team in place, marketing team? What does that look like as far as the team and system you have in place for that?
So we consider our entire team to be salespeople.
Gotcha.
So we have referral agreements with our team, our subs, the people that we work with. And that is where we get our referrals more than anything else. So we're all involved. We don't have a sales team that we've dedicated. We've talked about it. We're actually exploring a fractional sales team, which I think is worth considering. And we do have people who, for example, are recruiters, which is, of course, you have that skill of recruiting. That means you're able to have conversations with companies or organizations that might need help. That's also an avenue that we're looking at. We haven't closed any door. We feel as though we need to be focused on where we think the best likelihood of us achieving those sales would help. Our typical sales cycle lasts anywhere from a few weeks, depending on the circumstance. You can expect that the urgency of a cybersecurity breach would result in a very fast sales cycle. Everything else falls into a category of a month or two, depending on how quickly the client needs to move, what kind of problems they're trying to solve, and what their needs are. There might be a short-term need, for example, because they have had someone leave the company and it's going to take a while for them to find somebody, or they have a longer-term need, like a nonprofit that can't afford to hire a full-time chief information security officer. And so they need someone who can come in for just a few hours a month and work through it. We worked on a fixed fee basis. People don't have to worry about us pretending like we're attorneys and every email you send or every call you make is going to result in money spent. We scope things very effectively, and we're confident that we can achieve enough value within the confines of a fixed fee for clients.
Absolutely incredible. Paint the picture for us here, David, as far as what are you looking at on the bottleneck side of things? I know that there's a lot of success that you're seeing, but it sounds like a little bit around the sales
Yes.
and lead generation, converting those into
Yeah.
client, delivering services, fulfillment. What's a big bottleneck that you think about every day there?
So for us, the challenge is, and the bottleneck is, where are the people who need fractional support? Do they understand what it is? Do they even know what they need? Do they even know fractional support exists? So we believe that's one avenue, and that bottleneck is overcoming that challenge. The other challenge is, and this is where our consulting roots come in nicely, and that's why we created starter kits. Because a starter kit sounds more like consulting, which is in fact what it is. But what it comes with is one expert, one person who knows the area really well to be involved in helping to get something done quickly that can give you some real value. And so the bottleneck there is, where are those starter kits best applied? Are they offered in an ad? Are they offered in certain places with partners? We have another piece of this, which are partner strategy, and we don't have a lot of partners, but the few we do have, we rely on to help build that pipeline as well.
That makes complete sense on that front. So walk us through as far as what your mind is spinning with right now, David, on the vision side of things. Where are you really looking to take Fideseo to scale it? And where are you laser focused on in the next year for continuing that scale of Fideseo, whether it be specific revenue targets, impact goals? What are you really locked in on?
Well, what's interesting right now, this very minute, it's all about people hearing about AI, not sure how to use it. What does it mean for their work, their teams, and what does it mean for the work that we provide? And what we've found, and we've put our whole team through deep AI prompting courses. They understand how it all works in terms of GPTs. We also know how the AI algorithms, as they evolve, can be helpful with the actual work. we believe that AI has such an important role to play that if you, as a company or an individual running a company or in any role, can identify where AI can help you in your job, and we're advising clients like this with this all the time now, that can deliver incredible value. Give you an example. We have a client who came to us, CEO actually, who was playing with ChatGPT and
Yep.
wanted to understand how it could be used from a messaging perspective. And that was very interesting because this particular CEO did not have any experience with AI at all before then, did not take any AI prompting classes, had some really good ideas and is a good communicator. But this particular problem that needed to be solved was one that required a little deeper sense of how to make sure you understand what the implications are for AI in your company. And we advised this person on a lot of particular ways that AI could be used. And the good news is they've walked away with some really tangible actions they can take, some with our help, some with not. We want the clients to succeed. Doesn't mean we're in there for a lifetime engagement. That's not what we're after. We want to make sure they get what they need and that we're in and out of there as necessary.
Absolutely incredible. So let's get a little hypothetical then, especially with how, how you're thinking, how you're looking at growth and scale. Let's bring a genie into the room, snap our fingers, and provide you with unlimited resources right now, David. What are you implementing immediately into Fideseo?
So what we're implementing is a broad perspective, really, well, it's focused and broad at the same time. I know that sounds like a contradiction in terms. Focused in the sense that we're focused on the world of cybersecurity. It's just getting worse and worse every day for clients, and they're worried or maybe even not even aware, as our CISO says often. It's not a question of if you've been hacked, it's a question of do you know you've been hacked or not? And so that focus is that area. Then, more broadly, how do we help people protect themselves from these kinds of attacks in a way that is cost effective and demonstrable? And what do we do? And what are the needs when and how do you respond to those? So, that particular situation of either having had an attack, having an outage, having something happen that you know is not normal requires a very deep understanding of how do you fix that? What do you do to prevent that from happening again? And how do you make sure that when you recover, you aren't making the same mistakes? So that's where our focus is right now. And unfortunately, I'm sad to say we have a growing market. We have a growing market of people whose environments have been breached.
Yes. And that's the tough thing. And I spent some time in the tech world and it's just rampant. It's
Yeah,
rampant in there. So super important having you guys and what you're bringing to the table clear as day that your clients need it out there. So I have one more question for you, David, before
sure.
going into the lightning round for our listeners here. And that's going to be as far as the evolution of the consulting industry. What do you see that as in the coming years? And how are you really positioning Fidelio to take advantage of that evolution?
That's a really important question, Jay. So some consultants are going to go away because AI is going to
Yeah.
disintermediate them.
Yeah.
Stop. If you're someone who's, for example, if you're someone who's providing a whole bunch of data that's publicly available and you're aggregating it for clients and you're just saying, hey, here it is and packaging it up, they're going to learn how to do that on their own. And they're going to be much better at it in the next few years than they've ever been. And that work is going to go away. Where the value I believe exists in the future for consulting are the consultants who've mastered the ability to take AI and apply it in places in a company that add the value, but where you still need a human interaction. In the talk that I gave on critical thinking at the conference in March that I mentioned, one
Mhm.
of the things that I was asked repeatedly was, can AI replace critical thinking? And the answer is it cannot. And as an example, in a cybersecurity breach, if you have a problem, or you have a cybersecurity breach and you have to weigh how to solve it. Let's say you're a ransomware victim. Do you pay the ransom? Do you not pay it? What are the problems that led to this? Are they technology? Are they people? Are they process? Are they all of them? AI can't do that. AI can't make those decisions for you. You have to make them. So it's the consulting firms that can navigate AI in a way that blends the human brain with artificial intelligence. Those are the ones that are going to be successful. And I see that trajectory accelerating over the next few years.
Absolutely. And just incredible what AI is doing. Just every single day, there's new innovations and new AI tools that are coming out and different ways to utilize them. What you're saying is hitting the nail on the head. You have to really know how to take advantage, implement it into what you're doing on a day to day, and not get swept under the rug as it
That's right.
continues to develop. So, going into a bit of a lightning round here, just to finish us off, and an incredible conversation so far, David. So, I truly appreciate you coming on the show.
My
I just
pleasure.
want to ask this as far as a tool or a resource, David, walk us through what's just been an absolute game changer for Fideseo, whether it's a leadership strategy from your Unity Care experience, a risk management insight, an AI tool, as you're mentioning. What's really been a game changer?
So, you know what the game changer has been for us? It's the realization that our superpower is critical thinking.
Yeah,
And that's defined as the ability to analyze, understand, collate, communicate, reflect, be open-minded and listen to differing points of view, which is really hard sometimes these days, particularly, and come to a point where you can provide some actionable intelligence. And that aha moment was what led me to do this keynote in March in Las Vegas because it became very apparent to me that we help clients, and oftentimes what's happened is they aren't great at critical thinking, and there are lots of reasons for that. So that has been the thing that I think is really important for us as a company. And frankly, it's important for society. And it's not anyone's fault that critical thinking has become a lost art. It's because of just dynamics in our culture, especially around education. The good news is it's a skill that can be learned. And we have helped train people on how to think critically when they didn't know how to do that so well.
amazing on that front. And then just to wrap us up here, what is some advice that you can give to our listeners here, David, especially with the amount of experience and just passion and knowledge that you have? What can you offer those other founders and entrepreneurs that are either just starting out in business or in the middle of it and want to have that success that you're having? What can you give them before we wrap up?
So I would give them two pieces of advice. The first is that you've heard the old adage that change is a constant, so is failure. So you have to fail 9 times out of 10 to succeed once. And that's happened to us. We can't tell you all the twists and turns we had when we were Hershfield Consulting and now as Fideseo, where we've decided we're going to do this or that, and we're just trying things out. And that has gotten us to a much better place. The takeaway from all of that, and the second piece of this is you just have to stay optimistic. You have to have the belief that no matter what chaos is around you, no matter how many failures you've had to plow through, that you can do it. And if you have that sort of optimistic view, I'm not suggesting Pollyanna-ish, but beyond, be realistic, but be optimistic, and you'll succeed.
Absolutely love that. With that right there, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. David, first and foremost, just thank you so much again coming on the show, sharing your incredible journey and your insights with us. It's truly a pleasure to have someone of your aptitude on the show, really talking through and letting us in on how your mind works and how you're going to continue to see success. Truly a pleasure to have you on. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Fideseo at fideseo.com to learn more about their services, starter kits, and resource fidelity model. And follow David on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/David Hershfield. For more resources and insights, visit closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.